What's good, everybody? What's up? Back again with Ulfhednar. Today we're gonna make a video about highest DPS build PvE against ancients, which is any dungeon, Lazarus, and even open world. Straight into it. Attributes. I'm rocking 300 strength, 190 dex, ideally 200 dex for the backstab. And I'm trying to run as low as constitution as possible, but that's because I have a stable group. I already know how my tank acts, how he tanks, how my healer acts as well. Same with DPS, the positioning, we know all about it. We are used to each other. But I recommend running at least 50 or even 100 cone if you're running with randoms, just to be sure, just to have that safe, health number, if I was gonna say it like that. Put it like that. Now I have the 300 strength because of great on light attacks, which is pretty handy. Comes in handy in those AoE mob fights when there is stagger, but also I'm using thwarting strikes on my hatchet, so that's why. But more to it later. Weapon mastery for hatchet, full obviously berserk. I'm running throw. Now these two perks you can put either here, hurling force for more thrown hatchet damage, because we are going aim at throw and again running throw. You could put them in here in raging torrent, but I just like the basic, skill of the raging torrent. You don't need the upgraded one, I think. If you're running, for example, there is a affix imitations nature damage. It's called compost, and upon killing a mob with that affix, he dropped AoE. That AoE heals other mobs. So running infected throw is pretty handy as well because of the disease. 30% is pretty huge. With spear, we have the skewer to apply bleed and the debuff because of a weapon perk on an armor or a spear weapon, actually. Now we got perforate to apply ranked. We need that. This is your opener. And just, you have to use this on cooldown pretty much to keep up the rent. Sweep for CC on AoE mobs, very helpful as well. Quite a good damage as well, this upgraded version. You don't even need this upgraded version probably. But you should use sweep into gravity well or shockwave. And right after that, go with perforate, because perforate locks you in animation, which can get you killed most of the time. So this second attack would not, I would probably respect this, but this is not too bad damage. It depends, very situational. You can use perforate first if you know you're safe, and then sweep with the damage. It's really up to you. You could get some, I don't know, fortify from heavy attacks. You could get some stamina on crit as well. But this is the basic stuff. You could go with wall kick instead of sweep for a cooldown reduction, but I don't really think you need that. So I like the knockdown more, because stun can be broken in AoE on mobs by incoming damage. Sweep, not really. Now this was the attributes, weapon masteries. Let's go over gear. I'm running ancient award set, and this is void gem because I was running a dungeon that had void affix. Now I'm running the best thing you can get against ancient is Sun Lords. This drops in any it's a named ancient set. I do have 3 pieces. It has ancient award, refreshing evasion, shaking fortification. Absolutely insane for tanking the damage, even though you're a DPS. This is my weapon perk with Keen Berserk. Not that necessary. I would say refreshing would be better. My chest piece is with refreshing. Like, when it comes to mutations, you don't need ward, but without ward, you will not get invited to other runs through dungeon lobby. So if you need ward to clear the dungeon, no. But what ward will do, it will save you time because you will be tankier. You will take less time killing the mobs, and healer healing you for having problems with that. So I would say ward is very, very handy. I would say it's a must at this point. Back when mutations first came out, we did not need that. We cleared gold runs without wards, but yeah, as the game progressed, mutations as well, the runs. Now, second perk would be either weapon perk, which for me would be a perforate. I don't have that one. I would like to put it instead of a Keen Berserk. So perforate and skewer are the only perks you probably need for this build, in my opinion. But with skewer, we put it on weapon. I'll talk about why. Second perk, instead of, or if not weapon perk, it would be refreshing for the cooldown reduction, 100%. Now, as third perk for legendary, you could run elemental aversion, physical aversion against those mages or bows, especially in any end. That dungeon is pretty brutal. So this would be the armor. Now, amulet, just 2 perker. You don't need absolute base, which would be this with empowered health and the protection, but a 2 perker with health and the protection is more than enough. I have a against every single element in this game, so this is like the basic 2 perker. It's I would say pretty easy to craft. Very unlikely to find it on training posts as everyone just buys that or wants that. Now this ring drops from Starstone, the newest mutation. You can upgrade it to legendary with hardy slash leeching. All of those are super useful. Our damage is slash leeching to have some of the sustain if the healer is busy, you know, not healing. Hardy for having more stamina for rolling. It comes in handy for canceling animation Berserk, as we need like double roll launch when traveling, for example, or just overall comes in handy. Deep Earring, Nimble is not that necessary. I don't even notice that perk. But Toast, Double Toast, this dispel one is pretty useful as well. You can dispel some of the dots, burns, debuffs from the mobs. And a Refreshing Toast, cooldown reduction for potions, the best, right? The third perk you would need for reduction of threat would be pretty good too. If there's a tank who has a problem with keeping aggro, but I didn't really run into such instance. Hatchet, you already seen. Number 1 perk you should get is the Bane for the given mutation we have Ancient. Refreshing Tauren is the second one to cooldown reduction to all skills. Now, if you have 3 or more mobs around you, you have literally 0 cooldown on this skill, Raging Tauren, 0 cooldown, which means maximum damage. The third one would be Vicious or Rogue, but I have Thwarting Strikes. I found this one for pretty cheap. Now, Thwarting Strikes does not apply to skills like Raging Tauren, so this doesn't really have a good synergy, but our maximum like main DPS source, especially bosses, is light attacks from the Hatchet, so having thrown his strength, as you can see in here, that active grade comes in handy. Now for Spear, ideal would be Bane, again Ancient, with Skeever, but if you just have Skeever like me, we don't use this for DPS, we only use Spear for applying buffs, debuffs, and CC. So Skeever, if you didn't know, weapon perks on weapons itself have higher number percentage than on armor, so Skeever is almost a full cap of weaken on target, which is absolutely insane. Now, if you have a Great Axe user that has Maelstrom and the perk, where, you know, he applies weaken with Maelstrom as well, but then that's like perfect synergy. That's how it should be, especially on bosses, but again, on maps as well. Which is gonna keenly fortify. This used to be on PvP Spear, so I just use this one. Never disappoints. When it comes to Heartrune, there is only really one that you can run. This is Brutal Detonate. This is the highest, highest burst explosive damage. The second one you can use, again, against a nature mutation with affixed compost that drops AoE and heals other mobs. Could be probably Bile Bomb. This one is PvP, but yeah, you could use it for the healing reduction. I'm not sure. Someone mentioned that disease don't work against a compost, but from what we have tested, what we have seen, it does. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, Consumables, you want the classic potion and regen potion. Again, this is coming in handy because of the earring perk for the dispel of debuff. Coating, ancient coating here. You want to have honing stone as well. Then Asher with food. I use this one pretty cheap, or probably the cheapest one. Dex and strength, so all we need. You could even run like Oak Flesh or Gemstone Dust against some boss scenarios. You could even run Ward Potions. I do have Anger Earth here, but you could get, you know, Ancient for this. I never really use these. Maybe this could be useful like on really hard bosses. Well, any of this pretty hard, so you could use it there. Another one hard that is probably Barnacles, last boss. That's why I had this potion. I still never used it. Also, one perk I really recommend for mutations is getting legendary bags because of this consumption. This is like the best passive in this game. This saves you so much gold. So all 3 stack, and on top of that, if you guys know about the event that just happened, the turkey, he dropped trophy that makes your consumables last longer, food buff actually, excuse me, by 25%. It stacks on top of that too, so my food is like almost 2 hours. Honing Stone, same story. That's just insane. Now, when it comes to rotation, what you want to start with is apply... There is more ways to go about it, but I recommend always use Sweep for either applying perforate because once again you're stuck in animation with perforate that can get you killed, or you save sweep for when your team member uses gravity well or shockwave, you follow up the CC with that. Or you can just do simply start with fortify if you know you are, I mean perforate if you know if you are clear of shot, skewer into sweep, into hatchet, berserk. You're ideally to cancel animation berserk with raging torrent, but I messed up because I changed keybinds, so excuse me on that. But I really like to use running throw to reset my 3 a lot attack like this, or raging torrent. Once again, you can see the cooldown reduction on my skills. But I like to do 1, 2, 3, reset running throw, and once again, then roll dodge, or just go. If you have a clear shot, you can do a fourth attack as well. I just don't like fourth attack because the animation is a bit longer, and sometimes it can get you punished. But once again, my personal like perforate favorite, I mean, is start with skewer into perforate. There is gravel shockwave into sweep into animation cancel berserk, raging torrent, and start the chain with light attacks, running throw again. Now keep in mind we have refreshing evasion on our pieces. If you have that as well, then dodging comes in handy. And for that, I really like this passive, stam on a crit. If you take a target in the back, it's a guaranteed crit, so you're likely always to get stamina on crit, on hit, pretty much in this case. Crit chance. I know it doesn't really make sense, but sometimes you hit the mobs from the side or from the back. I mean, from the front. That's what she said. But anyways, this will be for the rotation for the combo wombo. I do have a separate video that you can find right up here in the right upper corner for animation against berserk. You can also do it from weapon swap, as you can see right there. You just use the skill from your secondary weapon, which is spear, and then you can just weapon swap, no roll dodge, just press berserk into light attack straight away. Let me reset cooldown as well on the berserk. I love raging torrent perk, it's so good. Too bad this is not really useful in PvP. I mean the what's it called? Raging torrent perk. Or skill, rather. You can also roll dodge a berserk into light attack, cancel animation like that. And like I said, there is more ways. Even if you're CC'd, you can cancel berserk. So I'll have it right up top. But anyways, that will be it. Hopefully it's not too long, because I always go overboard. I always tell myself I want to keep it a bit, you know, a bit shorter. But there's just so much to talk about, man. It's just crazy. But anyways, also detonate or Heartrune. Try to use that when the target or after you use perforate. And you use rend with berserk and oblivion. Ideally, you want to use detonate. That's the highest guaranteed DPS damage. He was immortal because he has no HP. Dummy. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I will have more videos like this. I will have for Angry Earth, Corrupted, and Lost. And yeah, until then, thank you all, and bye-bye.